200회?
예,
그렇죠?
그 정도 낼 수 있습니다.
예, 잠깐 좀 보여주실 수 있겠습니까? 간단하게 좀?
이거 정말 합니까?
예.
정말 합니다.
몸을 안 풀어서요.
예. 예, 됐습니다. 예.
아유, 감사합니다.
참, 이게. 야.
이런 거 하게 될 줄은 몰랐네.
아유,
조금 전
몸도 안 푸셨는데.
글쎄요.
아유, 감사합니다. 예.
So Teddy has set the stage for Kim and Herrera, scheduled for 10 with Lumaret as the referee.
Shake hands and wait the bell. Good luck.
You never know what you could see early in a Ji-Hoon Kim fight.
Joe, I disagree with you a little bit.
Stay alive.
You always know what you're going to see.
Well, you know exactly what he's going to
You're
look
going to
like.
see Kim walking right in, looking to take no hostages, no prisoners.
You could see one of these two guys on the floor. That's
Yes.
what you could see.
And Kim has been knocked out 2 times, and both times early, both times in the first round before he really got his motor going. Got stuck in the driveway idling.
Watch those hands.
Once he gets his motor going, he gives you so much offense that serves really as Kim's defense. Herrera not a puncher, but he's a good boxer and he's got a great chin.
Let him go. Suéltalo. Break.
Kim fought for a vacant title against Vasquez.
Stop.
Also
Stop.
12-round decision.
Kim has been involved in some head clash. You can see why. He gets right in there. You know, he's not shy. He's been cut over his left eye. And Herrera, well, he hasn't been cut, but his left eye is swollen shut in a couple of fights, Joe.
Looked like there may have been a clash on the inside as they came together there.
You know, Herrera's 6 years older. 32, Kim's only 26, but that's chronological age. But in the true way that I measure a fighter's age, and the amount of punches he has taken, well, I asked you the question, Joe, who's older?
Well, Ji-Hoon Kim.
Yes, I would say
The wear and tear. He's been weathered throughout his career. Remember, no amateur experience. Started boxing at 16, turned pro at 17, and with his style, learning on the job wasn't an easy thing.
No, and he hasn't been taught a real lot in the gym as far as I talked about earlier in the night. To complement his toughness, his grit, his heart, he hasn't been taught defense, hasn't been taught good fundamentals. You see he's off balance, gives up his height, he's not set with his feet, he just rushes in throwing punches and leaving himself very available to counter shots. And I'm sure Herrera has recognized that already.
Herrera landed a body punch in the middle of that sequence moments ago. There he snaps that jab.
Let him go.
Kim goes with a right hand to the body.
Good body shot there, I think, by Herrera. Got the attention of Kim, and there's a lot of body there to get the attention of Kim. You know, he's very slim, he's tall, and there's a lot of target to that thin body. And I said it in the fight plan, Joe, that I think you can slow Kim down. You need to slow him down. He's such a game guy. He's such an aggressive guy. But you can slow him down by going to the body. He raises that elbow and leaves the body open.
For a right hand, and that was an available target for Herrera.
10 seconds.
Coming to the end of round number 1, Kim and Herrera scheduled for 10.
You know, we talked about in the fight plan how Kim might be on a liquid diet after this fight because he leaves his body open on the left side. And you see it right there. You see it again here. That elbow moves, and the right hand of Herrera gets in clean.
It's Mauricio Herrera, who got a nice reception when he was introduced by Ray Flores here in Corona, California, because he's from nearby Riverside, California. 18-win veteran.
Hey, those guys in the truck do a good job of putting those pictures up.
Sure do.
To show the evidence of what just took place the round before.
It's because they have been trained through the years to listen to the master. Listen to what you say, what to look for in that fight plan. It often shows up in the fight, and then we can detail it for you.
listen to the bazooka.
The bazooka. That's right. That's how Grisham gave you a new nickname tonight.
Right now,
Uppercut on the inside from Kim.
Kim, again, you know, you could say going in from his physical assets, his physical, you know, dimensions, tall, long, that he should be on the inside, but he's always on the inside. He just does not how to fight, does not know how to fight on the outside and use those physical assets, those physical dimensions. But he's a game guy, he's fun to watch. And when his career ends, it's going to end suddenly because of all the blows that he takes and because of all the fun that he has given us.
Herrera
There's
landed.
a price to that fun.
Oh, there sure is. Herrera landed the right hand to the body. He does it again, Teddy. Got it right underneath that left elbow.
Yeah, and he's doing the right thing. Exactly what we talked about on the fight plan. He knows it's available. He knows that that's a kick in the armor of Kim where, you know, he raises that elbow where that's a flaw in his defense. And he also knows no better way to slow down a guy with a good chin like Kim, a game guy that only knows one way forward. No better way to take a little starch out of him, a little air out of his sails than to go downstairs. Yeah, again,
Turned him around.
Yeah, why you turn him around? Because of the bad fundamentals of Kim. He reached in with a jab. He didn't step in. He fell forward. His upper body was ahead of him, and he was off balance. And a good boxer takes advantage of that. Herrera's a pretty good boxer.
Kim fell forward again, and now he's back against the ropes.
You know, so far, Herrera's just been one step ahead of Kim. It's like a guy that, you know, he's watching a monitor, you know, on a little 1 second delay. You know, Kim's on that 1 second delay. Herrera sees what Kim's going to do. He gets off, and then he changes direction. He ties him up before Kim can get going. Now just watch, there's two parts of this replay. First, Kim, he reaches in with his jab, gets off bounds, and then Herrera knows what to do. He's a good boxer. Watch. He reaches in, Kim. He gets off bounds. His upper body ahead of him. But then you see Herrera just turn him. He makes this step to the side, takes his arm, pushes Kim into the corner, and changes position. He puts himself in master position, and he puts Kim in a disadvantage on the ropes.
Round number 3 of our main event. And then you saw at the end of that sequence where Ji-Hoon Kim looked over to the referee. And at the time he did it, Herrera did it as well, thinking perhaps they're coming in. Lou Moret was coming in. He wasn't. Had Herrera stayed on the offensive, he could have clipped Kim there.
Yeah, he was a gentleman there. You're right, Joe. He was a real sportsman there.
Kim waving Herrera on.
Yeah, of course he is. He doesn't want him boxing. He doesn't know how to deal with a boxer. Somebody elusive. You know, somebody that's a ghost in there. He wants to engage. Even if it's going to cost him punches, it's going to give him a chance to land a punch. And that's all Kim's looking, to land a punch. Even if it means taking 3, to land is 1.
Herrera met him with a right hand that time as Kim came forward.
And again, the fight plan, that's what we talked about. We talked about the body available for Herrera. We talked about the right hand available for Herrera. The right hand's in 2 ways, Joe. Time it off the jab of Kim, which Herrera did a minute ago, as Kim gives up his height, as he does all the time. Or do that. Just slip a little bit to your left, make the jab miss of Kim, and then counter.
Hey, stop. Stop. I told you, that's my last warning. No more. No more.
Warning to Kim there. Herrera goes to the body, then goes up top with the right hand. Snaps a jab.
And we talked about Herrera taking advantage of the tendencies of Kim. He's done that.
Break. Let him
Kim's
go.
going to need, if he's going to get back in this fight, he's falling behind early. He's going to get into this fight before it's too long, too late, before he's behind that 8 ball.
Don't
He's
do
going to
that.
have
No
to see
spinning.
some of the tendencies of Herrera, and they're there for you. We talked about in the fight plan, when Herrera jabs, a lot of times he'll slip to his right and leave that left hand out there a little bit. And when he does that, the right hand has to be there for Kim.
So available. I mean, that sequence alone.
the bad news for Kim so far is Herrera. He's beaten him on the outside. We expected that. A boxer usually will beat a slug on the outside. But he's also beating Kim on the inside. And that's where Kim must be supreme if he's going to win this fight. Because that's the only place he's got it. We talked about in the opening, though. You know, we talked about Mark Jackson complaining about rough play with the Golden State Warriors against the Denver Nuggets. You know, Herrera's not afraid. He won't complain about rough
10
play.
seconds.
He's
10
not
seconds.
afraid to mix it up with this on the inside, and he's showing it. You know, we talked about Kim has to see the tendencies of Herrera. He sees it there. Look, Herrera jabbed and slipped to his right, and Kim was right there trying to nail him with the right hand. He was a little late, but he's got the right idea.
See if he can get after it, pull it off here. And round number 4 of our main event. Let's look at the CompuPon punch numbers that have been compiled so far. Mentioning jabs and Herrera throwing 125, landing 42%, 53 to 11. Connect advantage on total jabs for Herrera.
If this fight's going to turn around, so far he's got a 3-0 for Herrera. It's going to turn around for Kim. It's going to turn around one way with the right hand. Actually, maybe 2 ways. Maybe a body shot here, maybe a left hook to the body. We saw a good left hook, and there's a good left hook again by Kim to the body of Herrera.
Look at him leaving and charging with the shoulder attack. Oh, did you call that?
Yeah. No.
You said that early on.
If Mark Jackson was here, he'd be going nuts. He'd be complaining to the ref. And I wouldn't blame him.
Kim had his shoulder up against the jaw of Herrera. He gave 2 solid lunges.
No.
That time he was tempting maybe to chop down.
You know,
Teddy scorecard, 3 rounds is hit. Protect yourself at all times. Fans at home see it the same way. And join in the voting, live scoring on Facebook. That time Kim got turned around, and once again, Herrera placed the right hand.
man, Kim has nobody to blame but himself. Bad technique, bad habits. He reaches in, he gets off balance, he gets turned around, gets out of position. Herrera knows how to take advantage of that as a good boxer.
So fundamentally flawed.
Break. One place he's not flawed, though, is inside that chest.
No, not at all. He is game and has heart.
Got a big tickler. Just wish he moved his head a little more. I said earlier that if this fight turns for Kim, it's going to be the right hand and maybe the left hook to the body.
Once again, he lunges forward, crosses over, was off target, out of position again, and eats another right hand because of it.
And that's another reason why he needs to go to the body, because if he goes to the body, he'll land something. He won't fall out of position, and he won't get into that position that Herrera's taking advantage. And also, Herrera's giving Kim a little trouble with his legs. There's no better way to take away the legs a little bit than to go downstairs, take a little air out of the tires.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Strong round here for the junior welterweight contender Mauricio Herrera.
Does Kim have the golden Warriors uniform on? No, but he's doing what Mark Jackson was complaining about, something a little dirty in that ring with his shoulder. And then here, he reaches in with a punch, gets out of position, and what does Herrera do? Well, he makes him pay. That's what you do in boxing. You make a guy miss, you make a guy pay.
And that happened moments later as well.
Yeah, I think Kim getting a little dirty there with his shoulder is as much frustration. You know, he's not a dirty fighter. He's a game son of a gun, but he's a guy that's not taught real well. A guy that has always got to take a lot of punishment to get to where he wants to get to. And right now, he's not getting a chance to get to where he wants to get to. He's got a more clever, smarter fighter, more developed fighter in front of him. And that shoulder banging inside was frustration more than anything else.
So a clash of heads that time as Kim took that stride forward. That time Herrera catches him leaning in again. Herrera seems unthreatened on the inside. Tried to land that left hook, couldn't turn it over in time.
Herrera very comfortable in the ring with a slugger where he can use his boxing skills. Also very comfortable in the state of California where we are. Most of his fights have been right here in California, while most of the fights for Kim have been far away in Korea.
Kim missed with that right hand badly. Herrera not putting forth as much of a pace as we've seen in the previous 2 rounds. Kim smothering on the inside, but not scoring much at all. Herrera just put a right hand to the body.
Little better round for Kim, mostly because Herrera stopped
10 seconds.
using
10
those
seconds.
wheels a little bit.
Exactly. Haven't seen him box like he did in the previous rounds. Fifth round allowed for Kim to be more the aggressor on the inside.
I might have a little slip there. I might have added, if I was in the corner, I might have added in there, Mr. Herrera, don't forget to use your legs a little bit. Combinations are great, and legs make those combinations look even greater. Why stand right in front of a guy that wants you to stand right in front of him? And that's the only chance for Kim to wear you down. He's getting into the rounds that if he's going to win this fight, these are the rounds that he's going to start to gobble up like a Pac-Man in that video game. You know, he starts to slow you down, coming forward, all that pressure, and then he starts to win rounds. He starts to get you to cooperate with him, to get you to stop doing what you were doing early, stop moving. If you fight Kim, you better be 2 things. You better know how to box, take advantage of his lacking of development and fundamentals, and you better be in good shape. Real good shape. Because he's coming. And then when he's done coming, he's coming. And then when he's done coming, he's coming. And he's coming right now.
He sure is. Dropped down with that right hand, sent the right hand to the body as well.
Always a chance to counter Kim, though. Because he'll do that. He'll reach in, he'll get out of position, he'll get off his feet, and he'll give you a chance, if you're a guy like Herrera, to counter. But I'm seeing Herrera doing a little more grabbing than before, and his mouth's a little open.
Body that time.
You know, that reminds me, that jab to the body by Herrera, Joe. Herrera hasn't been going to that body enough. You know, we talked about in the fight plan, he did it early. You got to slow Kim down. You know, he's like a locomotive. He's like a runaway freight train. He's like a snowball coming down the hill. He gets bigger and bigger. You got to slow him down a little bit. And Herrera did that early with the body shot, and then he stopped doing it now.
Yeah, rounds 2 and 3 specifically, we were calling that right hand underneath. Oh, we called him that time. Punched in between the punches and caught him with the right hand. But we were calling that right hand under that left elbow continuously in the early rounds.
I guess there's two ways you can slow Kim down, the body or the head. He's available to both.
You're going to hit something.
Yeah, he gets insulted, and I hate to say this, I'm not saying in a derogatory way, but in an honest way, he gets insulted if you miss him.
End of 6 coming up here.
Time.
You notice that Kim was a little slower early on? Well, there's a reason. Good body work early on by Herrera. Look at it all. Upstairs, downstairs, left hand, right hand. That's why Kim was a little slower early on, but starting to speed up a little the last few rounds.
It was a better round for Herrera in the 6th round. In the 5th round, nondescript Herrera as Kim took advantage. And now round number 7 scheduled for 10.
When Kim comes at you, you can see it. You know, he's kind of like, if he was a pitcher in baseball, he'd be one of those guys that kind of gives away what he's going to throw. You know, sometimes some guys are now he's getting caught a lot of shots. Sometimes a pitcher in baseball might give away he's going to throw a curveball. He doesn't even know it. He might stick his tongue out. You know, he might rub his hand on the side of his head. He might have a little bit of a habit that he's developed before he throws a certain pitch. Well, Kim, he tells you when he's throwing a curveball. He tells you.
He's almost like going to the batting cage and going up against a pitching machine where, hey, if you didn't get good wood, you didn't get a good swing, don't worry, the next pitch is coming. It's the same thing. The next pitch is coming. You got a lot of at-bats in the batting cage,
I'll take
right?
it further. He's more like Z-ball.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like hitting it right
you know,
over
right
the
where
tee.
it's going to be. Just level it up. And you got a bucket of balls next to you.
Exactly.
You're always going to have a chance. You'll always be able to counter. You always know what's coming at you.
Yeah, Kim is, I guess you could say, another way of saying it is, okay, he's harder to miss than he is to hit.
Those 2 punches do what they've done all night long.
You got to give Kim rest. Really, you do after his fights. He takes so much punishment. And I don't know if the people around him really look into that, but they need to. You know, he's taken so much physical damage. He's already had a detached retina in his left eye in his career. He's in the Miguel Vasquez fight. Matter of fact, he fought one fight with the detached retina before they discovered that he had a detached retina, and he finally got surgery to correct it.
Try to target that right hand there.
This is where these commissions, you know, some of these commissions, they get paid by you at home. The taxpayers, you pay their salary, you pay the commission to stay open. That's where they gotta show their worth. You know, in different ways. Just one way is when a fighter takes a lot of punishment, even if he doesn't get knocked out, lay him off, look out for him, protect him.
Time.
You know, we talked in the fight plan about Herrera being able to throw the right hand over the jab of Kim. Well, you just saw it. Watch it again. Right hand right over that jab of Kim. Kim throws that jab from too close and runs again. He falls in a little bit there. He gets caught with the right hand over the jab. He reaches in with that jab. He throws it from too close, and he doesn't move his head. And all night long, that right hand for Herrera, just like we talked about on the fight plan,
Don't hold.
is there.
Right.
Teddy, you've expressed concern in past fights with Ji Hoon Kim about the damage he takes, and there's a moment in the last round where you could start to see the accumulation taking its toll, and you talked about how if you're the corner, if you're the manager, if you're the trainer, you should take note and put the onus as well on the commission. Well, Lou Moret, the referee at the end of that 7th round, walked over to the corner of Kim and expressed to them, he said, guys, I'm not going to let him take a lot of punishment. I'm giving you notice right now.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, I think the question that's been around as long as boxing's been around, that's a couple hundred years. It's an ageless question, and nobody is sure about the answer. But is it better to be in there with a puncher getting hit where you get knocked out? Now, Herrera's not a puncher, so, you know, he's not going to knock him out with one shot. But is it better to be in there with a guy who's not a puncher like Herrera when you're a guy like him and you take a lot of shots? Or is it better if you're in there with a punch and you get knocked out with one shot early on without taking his punishment round after round after round after round? You know, in some ways it sounds sadistic almost and crazy, but Kim would be better off if he was in there with a punch and he got caught. As far as punishment for the future, that is, as far as maybe his health, if he got knocked out, and that was the end of the night. But here, Herrera, every round, hits Kim with 20, 30, 40 clean punches. So, for me, the accumulation of punches that you're taking when you're a guy like Kim is much more damaging than if you're in there with a banger and you get knocked out. Kim has been knocked out twice, both times in the first round. Those fights, I would venture to say, didn't do as much impactful damage to him as a fight like this would.
The worst situations we have seen through our years ringside of calling thousands of fights together were always the long, sustained, continuous poundings where we've seen catastrophic injuries, life-altering injuries.
And that's what I'm getting at. That's what commissions worth their salt. There are not too many commissions in this business that are worth their salt. That's what they got to look at. Everyone can see when a guy gets knocked out. Oh, you got to rest him. But you got to see in this kind of fight when a guy just takes punishment, you got to rest him.
Cut on Herrera's left. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you ringside as Lou Moret, veteran California referee, was just over speaking to the commission's ringside physician, Dr. Cano. And it was an interesting conversation, Teddy, that we were privy to as Moret was commenting on some of the concerns that we have expressed ringside about the sustained amount of punches being landed here in this fight. And Moret went over and told the commission, including the ringside physicians, that he felt that the both guys don't have a lot left in terms of the ability to damage each other, that they're both slowing, they're both fighting more on the inside, and that he doesn't see the potential for much threat here in these final 6 minutes.
Yeah, but my concern is what damage has been taken already. You know, for the last 8 rounds.
Okay, to your point, he said
cumulative effect of that. And any more, once you know, it's like a sponge. You know, sponge gets to a point where it can only absorb so much water, and then it starts giving off water. And you don't want to get to that point with a fighter where he's absorbed more than he can absorb anymore.
And according to CompuBox, he's absorbed 279 total punches.
And again, it's the job of the commission. They have money, you know, to be in business. And they're paid that money to be in business to look out for the fighters, to make sure they put honest, earnest referees and judges in place. But sometimes they don't do a good job of, and they need to. Someone needs to stay on top of them. I try to stay on top of them the best I can, but they need to look out for the welfare of fighting. Again, if Kim was to get hit early in this fight with a guy who could punch, and he was laid out, or it'd be easy for the commission to say, okay, we're going to lay him off for 3 months, or whatever the amount of time mandated. But you got to look at it when he doesn't get knocked out. But that he's taken so many punches, and he's taken them now.
He's just squared up right in front of Herrera, and it's so easy for Herrera to land between these punches against the target of Kim.
Kim is the perfect example of a fighter that really needs a good trainer and manager and people to look out for him, because he's not going to look out for himself. You know, a lot of fighters will look out for themselves. They'll say, that's enough. I'm not going there. That's it. But he's a fighter to his core, and he will just do what fighters do. Fight. And it's up to someone else to look out for him in the other dimension.
These two guys haven't moved from about a 2-foot square for the past minute and a half. Just punch after punch with Herrera against the ropes, and Kim squared up, chest to chest, shoulder to shoulder.
Now, the only mistake Herrera's making, you know, besides laying on the ropes a little bit, he's not going to the body of Kim. He's doing a good job of countering back to the head. But again, that body would take a little of the steam away from Kim.
Grease being applied to that cut under the left eye of Mauricio Herrera. He is opposite Ji-Hoon Kim, who is exactly as described time and time again. 10th and final round.
Now you see some legs of Herrera. He knows it's the last round. Started out early here with a little legs. We'll see if he continues. The legs make a big difference in this fight. You saw it in the last round. Perfect example. Kim's got a shot. You use your legs, Kim's going to take a shot.
Teddy, we've said it before when we've broadcast the Koreans' fights. There are fights where he has lost every single round and has won the fight.
The problem right now is he's got a guy in Herrera who's got a really good chin. And let's not forget, Herrera's the guy who put that first loss on Provodnikov's record. And Provodnikov showed that he's a pretty decent puncher when he fought Tim Bradley.
That fight was January of 2011 when Mauricio Herrera upset Ruslan Provodnikov, who went on to give Tim Bradley everything he could handle. He also beat Mike Dallas Jr. did Herrera, and then was in tough the last two times, losing decisions to Mike Alvarado and Kareem Mayfield.
You see Tim in there with his head a little bit. You know Herrera doesn't want to get cut now late in the fight. Fighters don't think about that. There's the right hand by Kim. But we talked about the fight plan that's there for him at times. When Herrera jabs, he slips to his right, leaving a little bit of a path for that right hand to cross over. And there's the head of Kim in there. Listen, I think that right now Herrera is a little tired, but he's distracted by that head. It's the last round. He knows he's well ahead in the fight. I don't think that he's not concentrating a little bit on making sure his head's in the right place so he doesn't get a cut. And maybe taking a little of his attention away from what's in front of him. And giving Kim a chance to get on him a little.
Easily matching that time on the inside.
As soon as there's a little space, you see Herrera take advantage of that space and let his hands go. You see what Kim's trying to do? Smother Herrera. You know, he doesn't know the defense, Kim. He just never got taught it. So his defense is to throw punches and also to smother you.
Under a half minute here as Kim continues on with his assault. Herrera hopes to bring it in for a safe landing and a victory.
I think Kim thinks that defense is a four-letter word.
He does.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Look at them take this to the bell. Oh, and one after it as well. A good night of action here on this special edition of Friday Night Fights. We will come back and hear from the judges from Corona, California. Stay with us. ESPN Friday Night Fights is presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. And in part by Just for Men Auto Stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. Ji-Hoon Kim and Mauricio Herrera going the distance earlier tonight. We had the foolproof punch of the night brought to you by Just for Men. It was Miguel Gonzalez in the 5th round, the knockdown, a little super mo against Miguel Acosta. Gonzalez would go on to win a unanimous decision against the recent world titleist. That's our foolproof punch of the night. Let's wrap things up in our main event. Teddy saw it 98 92 from the steady, consistent Mauricio Herrera. You, the viewer at home, 7 rounds to 3 for Herrera. For the official scoring, we send it up to the ring to Ray Flores.
Fight fans, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judges Max DeLuca and Pat Huntley have the bout 99 and 91, and Judge Marty Dinkins scores the contest 98-92, off with the winner by unanimous decision, Mauricio El Maestro Herrera.
Remember this good stretch of work by Herrera, the Provodnikov win, the Dallas Jr. win, but then back-to-back losses, Alvarado and Mayfield. So nice to come back with this 19th win of his career for the local kid. Makes good here in Corona time.